Students, hello.
Good morning.
Okay, and sorry for the delay. I thought it's 9 o'clock. Okay, yeah, chapter 25. In this chapter, we will study about economic growth. So, modern economic growth and increasing living standards, growth accounting, productivity growth, is growth desirable and sustainable. So, we will see economic growth. So, economists define and measure the economic growth as either increase in real GDP or real GDP per capita over some time period. So, economists define the economic growth either increase in real GDP or real GDP per capita over some time period. So, it can be quarterly, monthly, annually. So, we can measure the economic growth of the country as a increase in real GDP or real GDP per capita, because both have little different meaning. Okay, so we measure that as a percentage rate of growth. So here we say real GDP. We measure, we studied earlier chapter, there is a nominal GDP, real GDP. So nominal GDP, we measure the value of final goods and services produced within the country using the current market price, that same year price. So the real GDP measure the value of final goods and services using a particular base year. So I think we didn't finish the chapter 24, I think. That's why I didn't complete. So I can go back to the chapter 24, I think. Students, can you see chapter 24? Hello, students?
Yes, sir.
Chapter 24.
No.
Okay, I will. What about now?
Now it's okay, sir.
Okay, yeah. So in the last class, we studied about measuring the estimating the GDP by two methods, income approach method and expenditure approach method. So from that method, how to get the net domestic product, national income, then personal income, then disposable income. Disposable income is the income household finally get to spend for the consumption and saving. So we have income. That income we can use two purpose. One is consumption and saving. The even country produce more than that, but we consume the income only that disposable income. So other income, some part of income go to the taxes to the government and part of company profit, corporate profit, they retain. They don't, the households invest in the corporation company, but the company keep some income for the investment development. So they will not provide all the profit that company or corporation earn. Part of the profit they keep undistributed corporate profit. They keep it. And also they pay taxes. Company pay taxes. That is different tax. If you are investing in a company, so in the company profit, some tax go to government, that is corporate tax. Then they keep part of the corporate profit. Then rest they will distribute to the shareholders. Then again the individual household, they have to pay again tax because they are income. So two type of tax, corporate tax, income tax. So then after personal income tax, you will get disposable income. That is the income you receive in your hand. So you can use that income, disposable income, for the consumption or saving. So when you use this disposable income to purchase goods, again you will pay tax, that is in the price, indirect tax. That is not income tax, indirect. All the product has tax also. But this disposable income, you will use it for consumption and the rest you save. So the two methods we use, income approach and expenditure approach, to measure the GDP. So you should know the different GDP and domestic product, national income. National income may be greater than GDP. So because national income for all the Okay, students, sorry for the disturbance. So, the national income, then all the resource supplied by the house citizen. They earn for all the resources supplied by citizen. So, if we invest in other country, if we work in other country, then that money is come to our country. So that is now the employees working in the Middle East, they send their remittance. So they supply labor force in other country production, but the income is coming to our country as remittance. So that is included in the national income, but that is not included in the GDP. GDP is the value of all final goods and services produced within the country. So if we are for American, so they invest all over the country. So then their national income may be more than GDP. So that is national income. Then in the national income, from national income, we can calculate personal income after deducting taxes. Then from personal income, we can calculate disposable income by deducting personal income tax. So you should know the difference. So net domestic product means GDP, from that is gross domestic product. Net domestic product, we have to subtract the depreciation. So all the machinery building will, when we use it, or it's over that time, it depreciate the value that we are out. So when we use it, so we have to replace the parts of the machinery or building. We have to renovate. So that is, we have to deduct depreciation from the GDP. Then we will get net domestic product. For the national income, we will add the net foreign factor income. So then corporate tax we deduct, then we will get personal income. Then we deduct personal income tax. Then we will get disposable income. Okay. So we should know the difference between nominal GDP, real GDP. The real GDP is the one give whether our production increase or decrease, or because that is real physical value. But nominal, it's money value. So even there is no increase in the production real output value, but because of price increase, inflation or price increase, the value may be different. So 2 years, the same amount they produce, but previous years price is low. The current year price is more, but they produce same amount. But when we value by the each year price, then current year value is more, nominal GDP more, but really there is no increase in the production, same level both year they produce. So we cannot use nominal GDP to calculate or see whether there is GDP and the economic growth. So GDP is a dollar measure of production using dollar or using rupees. Hello? Oh, So nominal GDP using the prevailing price. So real GDP reflect changes. So when we calculate real GDP, we use some year price. So if the 2000 year price, we use it 2001, 2002, 2003, 2004 up to 2020. So all the product produced in each year from 2000 to 2020 value by the 2000 year price. So all the year we use same price to value the goods produced in each year. So then there is no price variation. So then we can compare the value of each year produced, because that give the real variation in the output. If 2001 we produce more than the 2000 physical terms, the quantity terms, but now we multiply by that value, that quantity by the same price, 2000 year price for 2001, 2000. So then that value actually give if there is a increase in the production or decrease in the production. So that is real GDP. That is why to estimate the economic growth or anything, we use real GDP. Nominal GDP will not give the actual, the real production increase or decrease. So we can use GDP price index if we calculate every year GDP price index. So we can use that one to convert nominal GDP to real GDP. So if we know the price index for the 2005, then 2005 nominal GDP is there, then we divide that by this price index, that is, then we can get the real GDP. So the census department calculate. So they calculate two type of price index. One is Colombo Consumer Price Index, other one All Island Price Index. So we can use the earlier we use Colombo Consumer Price Index because earlier they didn't calculate all year. Now All Island Price Index is there. So that price index they calculate, they select a basket of goods. So they don't calculate all the price of all the goods be produced, but mainly consumer spend. So all the consumer mainly. So they have a basket of goods and services. So that will represent all the price level. So they select a basket of goods. Then they value that basket of each 1 year. They take 2000 is a base year. They value by 2000 year price that basket of goods. Then each year they value that same basket of goods, the current that year price. So if we divide that one and multiply 100, they get the price index for that particular year. So in this equation, that basket price, the price level that base year is 100. That is why we multiply by 100. So Then they publish the price index base year. So 2100, 2001, 2210, 2002, 215, like that price index increase normally. So then if we know the nominal GDP of particular year, and also we know the price index of that year, then if we divide, we will get real GDP. So then we can calculate real GDP for all the years. Then we can use that real GDP to see whether real output increase or decrease, or we can use it for statistical analysis for the correlation between real GDP and the interest rate. Like that, there are many macroeconomic relationships you can test. You will study when we go for the next chapters. You will study more economic relationship between the variables. So macroeconomic variable. So you know what is nominal GDP, real GDP, and price index. GDP price index. So shortcut, we now use GDP. So we calculate GDP to measure the well-being, the citizen or human well-being. But so there are some shortcomings of the GDP, non-market activities. So at home, you are producing many things. So you cook and you do several jobs at the home. But that one we didn't include in the GDP. We only calculate the transaction, money transaction. If you buy at shop, or if you eat in the hotel or cafeteria, that is money transaction. That one consider in the GDP estimation. But you are doing many economic activity at your home. Every day you are cooking and washing many things, but that is not paying. So then that will not be counted in the GDP calculation. So then our GDP is underestimated. So we didn't count this thing. So that is one shortcoming. And lesser. So lesser also very important component of the well-being, human well-being. So earlier, the people work more hours. So now they are working less hours. So then they have more lesser time. So that is also we should include in the GDP. Then only GDP reflect the well-being. So if we work more hours in China, they will work more hours. Labor work more hours. But in the USA, they work less hours. They have more lesser time. But if we compare if we say USA and China GDP same, but in the China they work so 12 hours. In the USA they work 8 hours, something. Then even GDP same, we cannot say the well-being of the people is same. Because we didn't count the lesser in the GDP. So that is one shortcoming. Improve product quality. So we here value the quantity. So some countries or earlier, the product quality is low. Now the quantity is same. Now quality is high. So the quality in the product we didn't consider in the GDP. So that is also now over the years product quality increase, but the amount quantity is same. So now the quality of the product increase, but the total amount the produce may be same. So we didn't consider the quality in the calculating GDP. Underground economy. So there are lot of underground economy is going on, black market. So that will not be counted in the GDP because that is black market. So there is no record for the money transaction. And there are relationship between GDP and environment. So we cannot say the production increase, so the well-being of the people will increase. Like that, we cannot say. When we produce something, they are say byproduct. That waste, it's pollute the environment. When we produce more and more, we pollute the environment also, because any product has waste. So then environment is getting polluted. So if we consider only GDP, that will not reflect the human well-being. So big cities in China, so dust, yeah, noisy, so environment so polluted. But we should not tell the GDP is high, so their living standard, well-being is high, like that. We cannot say. So then we didn't consider that externality, environmental pollution into the GDP. So now there is a separate accounting standard, the green accounting, something in that we consider the pollution also. So composition and distribution of the output. So even GDP of the country increase, but the distribution of the output is different and composition is different. So some rich people may get more and more, poor people get less and less. Even country total production increase. So that will not reflect the well-being of the people. So if the poor get less and less, rich get more and more, then we cannot say that country's well-being, living standard of the people increasing like that. We cannot say. So with this modern growth, there is a disparity is increasing. So non-economic sources of well-being. So we should not think only economic is the well-being. So there are cultural many things. So for the well-being. So now if a country they can produce, now USA, their GDP is very high. Their national income is very high. So everybody can have weapon also there. They can buy in the supermarket any type of weapon. So very big machine gun and small pistol, it's in the supermarket. They can buy, they can have. So then there is mad people, sometimes they are psycho people, they shoot. in the university or in the shopping mall, then 10, 20, like that, he will kill them, and he also kill himself also. So that is, so less crime. Even the same GDP, two countries, if the less crime in that country, that is a non-economic source of well-being. So like that, between two countries, so tension, when we don't know when the war will erupt, so that is also decrease the well-being. So less crime. So like that, many non-economic source of well-being is there, called the good governance. So there is no corruption. So these are, we don't consider in the GDP. So GDP will not reflect the actual well-being of the country, but we have this GDP to measure some well-being, so living standard. So you can see underground economy. So you know Mexico, the most famous country for the drugs. So underground economy, you can see in the percentage of GDP. So more than 30% underground. So a lot of mafia are here, there. So we can get that data from census department, central bank, about this macro GDP and price index, GDP deflator also. Okay, this is from chapter 24. Now you have understood something about GDP and the well-being of the people. So now you can see chapter 25. Hello, students?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So in the economic growth, we use real GDP. So increase in real GDP or real GDP per capita. So some countries, if the population increase more than the real GDP, then real GDP per capita may be less than the real GDP increase. So then we cannot say economic growth. So the best measure is real GDP per capita to measure the living standard of the people in that country than the increasing real GDP. But we are using, but we can see, calculate what is the increase in the real GDP percentage, and also we can calculate per capita, real GDP per capita. So this is the percentage. So there is a rule, or is there a rule of 70 that they use it roughly for the rough estimation. If a country double, then the country double their GDP. Now our country GDP is 100 billion rupees. Then it will be 200 billion rupees. So they use this single rules, 70 divided by annual percentage growth rate of the GDP. Then it will give how many years it will take the country double the GDP. So in the USA, normally the developed countries, the growth, GDP growth rate, it's not very much, and also very low level, 3.5. USA 3.5% growth rate, but for the 1950 to 2005, like that. Now also less than 3.5, like that. But Sri Lanka, India, China earlier had 10%, double digit. Most of the country has single digit. So, but they can grow faster. They are followers. So now we are developing countries. We can grow faster than developed countries. Developed countries, if they want to grow faster, they have to invent new technology. They are the inventors. So if they invent new technology, then their GDP may grow faster. But the other countries, they are applying that technology. So then they can grow faster. They invent, USA, Europe, invent new technology. Then that technology immediately China, Japan, India, Singapore, they use it. They are not inventing. So when they can grow faster. But the developed countries, if they want to increase their GDP growth, they have to. So if there are new technology like digital computer, so like that new technology they invent, their growth increase. Otherwise, their growth like 3.5, like that. So growth in US real GDP per capita 2.3%. GDP growth 3.5%, but per capita 2.3%. So the population increased. So qualification, so improve product and service, added lesser other impact. So GDP, only GDP will not measure the human well-being. So improve. So I think I can stop here. Hello, students. Okay. Okay.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
चलिए